Baldwin. And that's how we got Billy Baldwin to endorse this organization. That's elegant to me. That's how this thing works. Not only is Lee Kemp a dear friend, he's also a client, and he has introduced me to Wade Boyd, who's not only a dear friend, but also a client. And they are what wrestling is all about. So let me introduce to you Lee Kemp. You guys know his accolades. He's a two-time state champ in Chardon High. He's a three-time NCAA champ from the University of Wisconsin. He's a four-time finalist, three-time world champ, an Olympic representative to the 1980 boycotted games. He would have won it. Lee Kemp.
What about this organization? How about a hand for the organization? One thing I can really say is America needs wrestling. That's a term that Dan Gable coined. And now, at this stage of his life, he's dedicating this part of his life to doing whatever he can to promote wrestling. But America needs wrestling. The type of individuals that wrestling puts out is just absolutely incredible. In fact, a dear friend of mine who hired me on my first jobs right out of college, he's here, his name is Bob Berkey. He said, even today, being introduced to a couple of people that I know, when he was looking at my resume, he saw on there that I was an Olympian, and I put some of my wrestling stuff on there, and that got his attention. And how many of you all out there have done some similar things on your resume? You put some of your athletic background down, and people look at it, and they get a perspective of who you are by what you put down there. And wrestling is far and away one of the toughest sports that there is. In fact, I tell this whenever I speak. I talk about the military, especially special forces. They look for individuals that have wrestling in their background. If you have wrestling in your background and you are applying to be in some aspect of the special forces, they want that. They appreciate that because they know how tough wrestlers are. And then as a side note, you all wrestlers will appreciate this. They also know that we can go without food and water for a while. But, the toughness that wrestling brings carries over into all aspects of our life. There's not a person that I talk to that they don't mention me something in their life, some hardship, that they dug back into their mindset back in the days in the wrestling room when they were digging, trying to make that, cut that last pound. What that creates in you as an individual carries on into the rest of your life. And I think that's the kind of thing that, for sure, we want to promote here. And when I first met Aaron and he talked to me and Peter about this concept of wrestlers in business, the first thing that came to my mind was, wrestlers in business, what about wrestlers in life? We're wrestlers in life. We carry that wrestling badge of honor through the rest of our life. I will be in places and I'll start talking about wrestling, and invariably, if it's a wrestler, we'll talk for an hour. It doesn't matter what the event or the venue is. When wrestlers get together, they start talking about wrestling. And then before long, they'll be grabbing one another, they'll be actually wrestling and tussling around. That happens all the time with wrestlers. It's one of the few sports or few activities where men they start grabbing one another and start wrestling right there on the floor, no matter where you're at. It's a neat fraternity that you all have decided to engage in, and I really hope you engage in a big way. As Aaron said, that there may not be a lot right now, as value maybe for the money that you're putting in, but really what you're doing is you're making a donation into the future of wrestling, and we all believe in what wrestling has done for us. I mean, wrestling has impacted my life tremendously, and in fact, Bob, who I mentioned earlier, I kind of sort of shy, I guess, and I was in the business world. It was pretty tough for me to make that adjustment, but the thing that helped me make it was the toughness that I knew I had as an athlete, as a wrestler. And I went on to do and to be successful in business. I owned a car dealership, and that's one of the toughest environments that I could possibly imagine. And I was successful at it. Not because, I had any special gift, but because I was able to dig down deep and work at it. And learning how to dig down deep and work at it is what all wrestlers possess. Some of the greatest motivations that I had as an athlete were not really necessarily the athletes on the team that were wrestling varsity. It was some of the wrestlers that were just there, second, third string, that were there as workout partners, if you will. They put in the same work, the same sweat, the same time that I did, but they weren't getting the accolades. They weren't getting to step out on the mat and perform. They were just there, grinding and competing away. And as I said, some of the greatest motivation I had was from some of these people. One of my first roommates was a guy that was kind of fit in that category, and I saw how hard he trained, how hard he worked, and he wasn't getting really, in my thinking, not much out of it. But boy, was I wrong. He was getting a lot out of it. That young man's a doctor today. And when we talk, we go back and we talk about the days in the wrestling room, and he talks about how that helped move him into where he's doing now today in his life. Once a wrestler, always a wrestler. Once you've done it, you've been through it, it's like a fraternity. I mean, there's just nothing like what you do as an athlete. And I've been away from the sport for a long time, and now I'm back. And I had the fortunate opportunity to be the Olympic coach in 2008 and be with our World Team members from 2006. And now, after going through all that, I really see how deep the connection of wrestling really is. I'll meet people that tell me, Lee, I remember I was at a camp you taught at back in the 80s. It's just like, wow. And they're off in their life today. They've got kids, and they talk about how important that time was in their life, how important that time of wrestling, but how important what I gave to them at the time. And I look at some of the coaches that gave a lot to me. I invited my high school coach here, Dick Deppenbrock, if he's still here. I'd like to have him step forward a little bit. I mean, if I had a great career in wrestling, I think I owe it to that man right there, because he started it all. He got me pointed in the right direction, and he believed in it. So, with wrestling comes coaches. And there's a lot of coaches here in the room, a lot of people like Peter who's an executive, a businessman who donated his time, if you will, to wrestling because of how important it was. So the coaches in the room who donate their time to wrestling, whether you are off into your careers and you just donated to a kids program, or whether you are officially a coach, you really do impact people's lives in a big way. I mean, think how fortunate I was to have found wrestling, and not only having found wrestling, but having found a coach who cared about me enough to guide me and provide a really good role model and a good example to move me where I am today. Another role model was Dan Gable. Dan Gable gave himself very unselfishly and helped me develop into the athlete that I was able to become. And now I feel like I'm in a position to help give back in that same way. I've got a wrestling school in Chicago, and I just believe very strongly what wrestling can provide individuals and what it can provide for life in general and for the United States. And again, I go back to my opening statement, America needs wrestling. That's a term that Gable has coined, and it's so true, because what wrestling produces is individuals with great character, great intensity, great work ethic, all the things and adjectives you can think of. Wrestling produces that. And it produces a fraternity of people that can get together like we're together right now. And it's very, very different in my mind than something like Facebook or something, like we all probably are involved in Facebook in some way or another. Maybe you are directly or your kids. But this is something that is relevant to us all. And I was talking to Aaron a little bit earlier today, and he was saying how, boy, I really would like to probably go to the national tournament. I probably would like to watch maybe some streaming video when they have an important match, but I just don't have the time. I'm busy. I don't have the time to do this. But if we can create something that can synergistically put us all together, maybe that'll be one of the things we'll make time for. But it's got to be done in a systematic way that keeps bringing us all back together. In fact, one idea I have is maybe we all can form a group and we can have a Wrestlers in Business presence at the national tournament every year. I think it's something very special. I think it's something very important to all of us, and I think that's why you all are out here today, to support the organization, to support the vision that we have, and I think it's going to be something very big and special. There are former wrestlers there in every walk of life showing great success. And I had the fortunate opportunity to recruit Jim Jordan. We all kind of know who Jim Jordan is. And I can remember going to his St. Paris Graham and watching him and then sitting at his parents' home and then recruiting him, as a lot of you have done as coaches. sitting there and recruiting Jim and then his brother Jeff. And I knew Jim was special then when he was at Wisconsin. He made the transition from being, he was a 4-time state champion, great wrestler, but he realized he had to make a big step up to be a good college wrestler. It took him a year and a half to really make that transition, and then he became a 2-time national champion. Jim wasn't the quickest guy, he wasn't the strongest guy, but he was the most determined guy. And his success speaks for itself. And he was in coaching for quite a while with Russ Hellickson, and then he got out of coaching. And he's going to do some great things in his new environment now with his integrity that he has. And I think, I'm not sure what his complete aspirations are, but you can pick any discipline or any profession, and there is a wrestler in that profession doing well. So I really hope you all engage in this organization and you tell people about it and you bring other wrestlers back in, because we're just dying to get back involved. I'm just very happy that I got back involved in wrestling, and I've been in the national tournament the last 3 years. It's just like a fraternity. This is going to be even a bigger fraternity. So thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity.